What's going on YouTube? It's James Ong here, and this is an early access first impressions of Stirring Abyss, an indie game described by the developers as a Cold War era underwater XCOM with elements of RPGs like Divinity Original Sin. Let me straight off the bat here begin by quickly summarising this game and what I intend to cover in this video. As I mentioned, this is my first impressions of Stirring Abyss, and I'm sticking with that categorisation of this content. However, this is going to be a little bit more in-depth than your typical first impressions video. This game has its issues in its current early state. Some UI elements need some work, and some of the gameplay mechanics could be a little bit more intuitive in my opinion. But there is definitely some real potential here. My first impressions of the game from what the developers were trying to sell themselves on were quietly positive, and the game piqued my interest with its XCOM style gameplay. But for me, it was as soon as I booted up the game and was greeted by the actually truly incredible soundtrack that I knew I might be onto something here. I've always been a massive fan of video game art and someone who has hugely appreciated games for their potential in creating immersive environments and building and enhancing an atmosphere through music and ambient sounds combined with the game's lighting and visual effects. And this is something I feel Stirring Abyss absolutely nails, especially when it comes to the soundtrack. If I could summarise this game in a short paragraph, I'd say it has some promising gameplay elements, although many things also feel a little clunky at this stage, and I found some mechanics to be a little obtuse and hard to grasp at first. I'll get into all of this in a bit more detail later. I feel the game has some potential to tell a decent story, however there isn't any voice acting, so if reading turns you off, this is probably not for you. I also feel the writing lacks some punch. It can be a little too drawn out and long-winded in places that it doesn't really need to be. However, the atmosphere of the game is outstanding. It has a very calm yet powerful and foreboding aura to the underwater environments, and I found the art style to be pleasing and well suited to the game. Like I mentioned, there are some promising and enjoyable gameplay elements here, very reminiscent of XCOM with tactical turn-based combat using squads of characters. The clunkiness and unintuitive elements I mentioned earlier can certainly be ironed out, and this can come together as a highly enjoyable tactical turn-based strategy with a truly gripping, dark and suspenseful environment. If you're enjoying this video and this first look at Stirring Abyss, please do leave a like, it does really help me out. And of course, you can subscribe for more early access and first impressions content. So let's get started with some early gameplay. We're going to be jumping into a new game here with a random crew, which is what the game suggests you do for your first run. All of your crew members have their own unique traits and abilities, and this changes the strategy and how you play the game. So each run I've done with different crews has been unique and offered different gameplay challenges. Your goal here is to repair your broken submarine and find your missing or lost crew members while surviving on the depths of the ocean floor and unraveling the mysteries around you. Alrighty, so this is the little starting area here. We've got like a welcome message here which tells you some tutorial type stuff. I've played through this a couple of times now, so let's get moving in here. I can scroll around here by holding down my middle mouse button. We need to go and investigate this object over here. And here we get some story-driven text type stuff. I'm not going to read this. It's quite long. Yeah, there's a little bit of reading here, so if reading's not really a thing, this may not really be a thing. But let's go and grab whatever is in this US Navy sack here. In here we've got a spear gun, which we can throw into our inventory by doing the thing properly. And let's keep moving down this way. Yes, we have found some items, our tutorial tells us. Let's end the turn. Yeah, so kind of XCOM style turn-based kind of strategy here. And this is going to be our first encounter. So our first look at combat. So we can use the spear gun here. And we've got a 52% chance to hit this dude. Maybe if we move a bit closer we have a better chance. How do I... Okay, if I just do that, yep. So if I just right click I can do that. Okay, it's still 52%. I'm not going to move any further because this takes 1 action point to fire. And you can see up here that I've used one of my action points already through my movement. So I don't want to move any further and not be able to shoot. This is something that needs a little bit of improving though. It's not very clear, like, how far you can move before you use an entire action point and stuff. It's a little bit difficult to sort of... You kind of just got to guess, I feel. But yeah, let's go and shoot this thing here. If we hit it, we do in fact hit it and kill it, which is good. Got a quick tip there, and we have grounded that enemy. Let's end the turn here, and now we should be able to waltz on out of this starting area. This is the Tavern Exit here. We need to actually approach it, and then we can exit the tavern. And here we start to get our first look at the world and the actual sort of gameplay. Alright, so we can investigate an object here. Again, we get some more lore, story type text in here, which I'm not going to read. I'm not going to be reading a hell of a lot of that sort of thing. And here is our ship, which is sunk, basically. We've had some sort of disaster occur on the ship. And this crew member here, or we're the commander apparently, okay, so our commander here got stranded in this cavern, and now we can come out and assess the state of our ship here. So let's go and jump inside. Can I do that? Okay, maybe I'm out of actions and not close enough, so we'll do that next turn. Alright, so let's get here, and now I think we should be able to enter our ship. Indeed we can. So this is our safe haven. And again here we get some text about our ship. So our ship is apparently called the Salem, and it's shining like a beacon of hope. Again, there's a little bit of reading to do here. We'll just continue through that. Now we found a crew member alive in here. It is Science Officer Catherine Reynolds. I'm playing with random crew, which is apparently what they suggest you to do the first time. And I've not tried the custom crew setup thing. But all the different crew members have different abilities and stuff. And yeah, you get a very XCOM vibe with this, with having a party of people and the XCOM style combat, that sort of thing. So again, we get some tutorial text here. Now I might read a bit of this to familiarise myself with it again. I haven't played too much with the ship. So we found and entered the Salem, your submarine and base of operations through Stirring Abyss. Characters currently on the ship are represented in their portraits. Yep. Okay, and we can send our characters back to the ocean floor by clicking on them and doing that, probably. The control room is flooded, which we need to pump the water out. This costs power, which replenishes slowly, and it is very, very slowly. You'll need to pump the control room out to access the other rooms and eventually repair it to help look for more survivors, okay? The Salem has an inventory that contains crucial supplies. It's down here. That's good. And we can drag these items into our inventory thing there. Let's pump the water. Now, how do I do this again? Okay, do I just press that? I do. Alright. So this is going to pump. It won't take too long. It pumps pretty quickly. And what really takes time is Turns until the pump is finished 5. Okay, so we could end some turns here. Actually, yeah, let's cancel that and we'll leave the ship and go and do some combat and stuff while this is pumping out. And yeah, the main thing going on here is that it takes a long time for your ship's power to replenish. So you can see we're at 15 of 100 power. I think looking at this, when I was glancing at this bar just briefly before we pumped, it wasn't at 100% power. So maybe we don't need to recharge all the way to 100 to pump a room out. But once this pumps out, we'll get some options for repairing things within the control room, which we can do by gathering supplies around the world. And this is our inventory, or our list of supplies up here. So you'll see when we go and gather some stuff. Alright, let's dump some people out onto the ocean floor again. So our new crew member and the captain here, who I think are standing on the same tile. We'll move them off there. Now there's like an air mechanic here. Can you disappear, please? So there you see, in our diving suit, this character has 18 air remaining, and so does this character. So yeah, we can only explore so far before we'll need to return to the ship. So we're not going to wander too far off here. I've seen there's ways for crafting air tanks and stuff, so there could be ways for you to carry some more air with you so you can explore further and stuff. I haven't played a hell of a lot of the game so far. I've only probably played maybe 10 hours, probably less than 10 hours to be honest. So I'm still very much discovering things as we go here. I can see that our captain needs to reload his spear gun, so let's do that, which is going to use pretty much all his action points, right? Yeah, you can't move anymore, alright. Let's poke about briefly with this character, but first I'm going to use my searchlight function. So this is quite good. If you've played XCOM, you'll know that wandering off into fogged out or unexplored areas can often trigger groups of enemies, and that's the same thing sort of going on here. But here we have this searchlight thing, which I can go and throw down, say like here, and then I get a little view on this area, so I can go, okay, it's probably alright for my character to just poke into this area a little bit. So let's do that. I'm not going to move too far because I don't want to discover anything. That's going to be far enough for me. Yeah, I don't want to discover anything with these characters sort of separated here. And yeah, in turn. And having no action points remaining and stuff. Let's see if these things do anything. They may actually get some attacks off on us now. Ah, a bigger enemy. Okay. Okay, cool. I was kind of hoping to get some bigger enemies here. And here is a spectral manifestation or something. So you are something that will affect sanity. The mental state of your crew is a vital resource. If a crew member starts their turn on 0 sanity, they will gain a permanent delirium counter. Each delirium counter confers a 10% chance per turn that the character suffers an episode of madness. Okay. So that could be quite similar to perhaps XCOM Panic, potentially. Maximum sanity decreased by 5. Right, so you've got less buffer there, but you're going to take less damage, I suppose, for want of a better word, from this spectral being or something over here. Alright. We have found some things. I may at this point use that linguist ability, but first let's fire a shot here, which we hit, and our captain is now out of actions. I should have actually maybe considered using some of the captain's abilities, which I haven't exactly looked at yet. I suppose we'll do that next turn. This crew member here, what shall I get you to do? So, it's possible that we could kill that thing. kind of possible. Can I get close enough? I reckon I could maybe get close enough to use the knife. Yeah, I could. Let's give it a go, potentially. 70% hit chance. I'm okay with this. And I think if we successfully hit, we'll kill this thing. So let's give this a go. Yeah, alright. Skulker bites the silt. Excellent. Alright, so we killed a larger enemy there. Maybe next turn we'll look at getting rid of these things. Or there may be other larger enemies around as well, to be honest. You cop a hit, and there is a larger enemy here who has chomped into our crew member here. Everyone's going on this dude. I wonder if he can cast Linguist on himself. It could be useful. If I can cast it on him, I'm going to do that next turn. And potentially with this only using one action point, I can do that and then use the knife. Does this end turn? Because I know like attacking actually ends turn. Alright, our ship has finished pumping that room out, which is good. So thank you. The Slem is now ready to start being repaired and stuff, which we'll go and get to later. Alright. Let's use the Linguist ability, right? So, yep, they will lose all thought of battle for a moment, yada yada yada. So let's see if we can cast that on ourselves. Okay, maybe I click it. Yeah, okay, it looks like I can. Glyph of Splendor. And indeed, that doesn't end my turn. So I can now use the knife. I'm going to get rid of the smaller enemies. I feel like that's a better move because they're more easy to kill. So there we can just get rid of some damage straight up there that will be applied to us. You need to reload, which requires an action point. So I'll just go ahead and do that straight up, and then 62, 62, 62. I'm going to take a 62 on this thing, which hits and kills. Excellent. You should be able to survive next turn, especially with your glyph active. Let's see how that... unfortunately this guy attacks first, so you're the one who's going to be disorientated. It would have been better if Big Merc Fiend here had attacked first. Oh no, there's another Merc Fiend back here. We might try and back up a little bit here. After spending some more time exploring the depths of the ocean and familiarising myself with Stirring Abyss, I found myself enjoying this game more and more. Building out your party and discovering the mysteries hidden on the ocean floor is quite satisfying, and the game does a good job of pacing itself and slowly revealing to you the mysteries of this underwater universe. The exploration, crafting and gathering of resources, combined with repairing your ship and building out your party, make for satisfying and engaging gameplay. Despite some elements of the game still feeling slightly convoluted, I've had fun with the almost 4X-like elements of the game. Exploring, expanding, exploiting and exterminating your way across the ocean floor quite accurately describe how I've felt thus far in my limited time with Stirring Abyss. Experiencing an incident befalling a member of my party added a spike of drama and colour to the experience of exploration, although the mechanics surrounding resolving these incidents was one that I found slightly obtuse. Despite these perhaps less streamlined features, overall I feel the game has a certain degree of polish, with the atmosphere, the world building, and of course the sound design being a particular highlight. And given these are features that I don't feel change and evolve quite so much over the development and refinement of a video game, I find it hard not to recommend this as worthy of further attention. I also feel the need at this point to mention that it's apparent to me that the finished developers behind Stirring Abyss are passionate about their product and care about seeing it develop to completion. To be clear, I have absolutely zero ties to these guys other than being one of the dozens of YouTubers they sent a key to in the hopes of getting more exposure for their game, but I feel this is relevant as if you decide to back the game, You want to know that the developers are working hard to deliver what they've promised. But don't take my word for it, go and have a chat with them yourselves and make up your own mind. I'll leave a link to their Discord in the description of this video. I've found that they're hanging out there most days. This concludes my first look at Stirring Abyss, an experience I'm happy to say I have enjoyed. If you've also enjoyed this journey to the ocean floor, please do leave behind a like, these do really help me out. And of course you can subscribe for even more indie development and first impressions content.